Hello and welcome to OverShadow ShadowCast with me, your host Thomas Anderson, and tech wizard Abigail Moat.
Hello everybody.
So, straight into it. What hath you been playing with?
I have been playing
If. Mm-hmm.
Grand Theft Auto 3.
So we have returned to the promised land of yesteryear.
Not so much Promised Land, we've just returned to it.
Oh, right, okay.
So, as you may be aware, for the last 2 weeks I have been struggling. Well, last week I didn't even attempt to do it because I've been struggling so much to help me one-armed friend.
Phil.
So, anyway, after I don't know how many hours I spent trying to complete this, I gave up for a week. I was like, I'm not going back to it for a week. So, the other day I was like, right, okay, I'm going to have another go at this. I switch on the PS2. I sit there waiting for it to load, resenting the fact I'm going to have to yet again go to the crooked cop, yet again go to this place, and help this one-armed man called Phil. So...
Sorry, just to clarify, that actually becomes a bit easier because I think that the later games, like 4 definitely has it, and I think 5 has a skip mechanic. Right. So if you've done the whole... You have to go to the mission start, but if you've done the drive to the actual... like start of the mission, as it were, then it just zips you there.
Oh well, I can't do that because I can only save when I'm at base camp. And
no, I'm saying it's the future games.
Okay,
I just to keep that in mind.
Yes, okay, but I can't play those games yet, for I have no platform to play them on.
I wouldn't let you anyway. We're doing a full Grand Theft Auto 3D run with you, so you've got to play these.
So anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, right, how am I going to do this any differently than I've done in the past? I get there, I get into this army truck, I pull up, I pull back, the enemies approach, and then I just start shooting, and somehow, miraculously, I clear it. That first go back at it.
You just opened fire at them randomly and killed them all?
No, well, yes and no.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes the aiming button was working, sometimes it wasn't. So sometimes I'm gonna fail, it's not working. Oh, it's working now, I might have a go at this. And just somehow, some luck of the draw, I managed to complete it.
So did you park a van in the way, or did you get out on...
Yeah, a big car parked, a big...
truck.
I've done the same thing every single time, just this time decided to be different.
And you got out on the side of the bad guys?
Yeah, but I still managed to get through and managed to get the weapons. And I was even going through all the weapons, and I still... Like, you know, when you press, what is it, L2 or R2,
mm-hmm.
you can scroll through the weapons that you have. And somehow, miraculously, I was able to get it done. I have no idea how I did it, but you should have seen the look on my face. I was literally just, like, dumbfounded looking at the screen. I was like, what? I must have spent about 6 or 7 hours trying to complete that. And my first go back at it, playing it for all of 15 minutes, I was able to do it. I learned nothing new. I just went for it.
Yeah, I think that, well, that's probably learning something new. But I think that that's the subconscious sort of learning effect. Is it because you took a break, your subconscious was able to basically just learn how to do it.
I didn't do anything differently though.
No, you did. Because the previous times you've spoken about it, you've not... we have not heard tell of such aggression. When it goes,
I was aggressive. I was just like, one more time I was going to throw this thing out the window kind of thing.
No, that's rage quitting. I'm talking about the actual aggressive tactics you seem to have employed. They were different. You didn't have... The previous walkthroughs that you gave us of what you did were not quite that way. There wasn't as much aggression when you were describing what you did. I think that's probably why you won, because you just thought, oh well, I'm going to lose anyway, I might as well just sprint at them and pull the trigger a lot.
Pretty much.
What weapons did you have?
Oh, I don't even remember. It was such a blur. You know when you're just fed up with something and you just want to get it over and done with?
Well, not specifically, but was it pistol, SMG, proper machine gun assault rifle?
I don't know, some sort of assault rifle.
Right.
That one where it's on automatic and you don't need to keep reload, like, you know.
That could have been an SMG as well.
Yeah, I think it was a Suzuki or something like that. Not Suzuki, the car.
That's a car. I mean, it's
something. Sounds like something like that.
Let me see. Was the colour? Yeah, there's a colour in the corner with the weapon, right?
No.
There's no coloured background.
Not that
for
I'm
the
aware
gun.
of. Not that I've thought of it.
That must have come in later then. They coloured the backgrounds later, so yellow was SMG and orange was assault rifle.
But anyway, so I cleared that mission, and now I'm stuck on the next mission.
Pray tell, what is this next mission?
The next mission is where you have to chase down a car with evidence in it, and this car will manically go wherever it wants to go. It will loop a block. It sometimes doesn't loop a block. I don't actually know if it's got a random generator in it or if it does the same route each time. But you have to hit the car and collect evidence, like photographic evidence, and then at the end of it you need to put all the evidence in the car and burn it.
Mm-hmm.
However, every time that you hit the car and pick up the evidence, a police car decides to start ramming you.
Right, so what you're saying is that the actual mission, so you slowly, as you head up the progress bar, as it were, you increase police attention to yourself.
Yes, more stars get lit up.
How many? What's the maximum you've been on?
3 so far.
And then you've been killed?
Yes, every single time. I've been knocked off bridges, my car has exploded. Sometimes the police officers just shoot me.
Have you tried shooting the car you're chasing?
No, because I've not tried. No, I can't get up to it that close. I've only been able to ram it a few times. Like, because it's just so randomly.
And you
sporadic.
can't shoot forward in this game, can you? You have to shoot sideways.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So how far through is there a progress bar telling you how much longer you need to keep ramming the car? How far through it have you got before you die?
All I'm aware of, I can't remember. I don't think there is a progress bar. I can't remember there being one, but what it does tell you is how many pieces of evidence you've picked up, and you need to pick up 6. And so far, I've gotten to 2.
So you were saying that you hit, and every time you hit, you get 1 piece of evidence. You need 6. You've got up to 2, and you've had 3 stars on you. So that seems quite harsh.
Yeah. So, it is. It's so annoying.
Have you managed to? What cars have you been using? What vehicles have you been using? Obviously, a bike wouldn't work.
No, I have tried sort of
Even if bikes are in that.
sturdy vehicles. I've tried fast vehicles, and I've tried taxis, which seem to be a weird middle ground. Quick but sturdy. And so far, none have helped me whatsoever because the sturdy ones are too slow, which are like trucks and things like that.
Right.
The fast ones just crumple or they get knocked off really fast off ledges and things like that. Also, I don't know if it's just driving mechanics. Trying to drift is a nightmare because I just keep spinning round and round. Taxis seem to have been okay so far.
Yeah,
because it did take me a while to realise I didn't actually have to get out the car to collect the evidence. Because I thought I had to get out.
You were getting out rather than driving through?
Yes.
Yeah. The little, I think it's pieces of paper or
yes.
briefcases floating in the air.
It's like they're photographs.
Right, and they're floating in the air.
Yeah.
You just drive through them, yeah.
Didn't realise that. So yeah. Thank
There
you
you
for
go.
the sympathetic pat on the arm.
I was trying to be nice, but fine if you're going to attack me.
So, that was a bit, right, I've wasted a lot of time because I could just drive through it, but it just takes, I've watched a walkthrough to see if they could solve it for me, and they seem to be just getting, I don't know if they just had a bit of more luck getting to the actual car, but they were able to do it very quickly, and I've just...
I think that might be the tactic, is get there and get it done so quickly that the police don't have time to get to you.
Yeah, because at the moment it's a nightmare, and it's the same scenario as the one-armed man. I don't want to play it anymore because it's just taking too long. I don't want to be stuck in the same situation where I'm on the same mission for 2 weeks.
Well, you probably will be, but you'll probably learn while that happens, because you will have to learn. You know, you'll have to go through this no matter what game it is you're playing, and it's probably better to do it with the older games because it's harder. The mechanics don't help you quite as much, they're not quite as kind, they're much less sophisticated, so learning it with those games means that you will have it down for the later ones.
Yeah. So, that is pretty much what I've been doing this week.
Nice.
It's good you think so.
Yeah. Somebody has to think so, because you're going absolutely mental. I can get out the car and pick the stuff up, but I can also be in the car and pick the stuff up. Nothing makes any sense anymore. Like, you try to collect evidence and the game's telling you to plough through it at 100 miles an hour. Scatter it to the winds. It's like, oh yeah, that'll do. Ooh, just reaching out and grabbing random pieces of paper from the sky as this entire ream of printed evidence goes poof into the wind. It's not exactly what you would call a logical step to collecting evidence, but how did you actually work out that's how you could do it?
By watching the walkthrough.
You didn't even do it by mistake?
No.
Lordy. Okay, that's... I thought you'd just driven through it and gone, oh.
No such luck. Because I had actually tried to drive through it the first time and it wasn't working, so I thought I had to get out the car. I must just not have hit it.
So obviously you're finding it difficult at the minute and you're worried about getting too frustrated to keep playing it. So
yeah.
What is your plan?
Probably to be taking breaks from it. Because I think that's the healthiest option.
Maybe it helps. I think it helps.
I don't want to end up breaking my PS2 because then I'd be nowhere.
Or breaking your brain.
Exactly.
But I think that it's the best option because it gives you your subconscious mind a chance to
unwind.
Also to figure out the problem. Because if you have to learn to do something you're not used to doing, you literally have to give your brain a chance to form the neuronal connections.
Yeah, because it's when it gets to the point where I'm genuinely dreading switching that thing on to play it.
Then you need to take a break.
Yeah, because there's no point in playing a game if you can't enjoy it.
Well, it's slightly different for you, like I've said before, because you're also learning how to play games. But those rules still apply to a large degree because if you get too frustrated, too angry, too annoyed, you're going to stop playing games altogether. So there's also a different mechanic from that point of view for you.
But even when I used to play handheld consoles,
yeah,
like even then I would take like a few weeks off and then go back to it.
So you would stop playing those portable games, the handheld games, and take a break? Is that because of the same thing? You had to learn what you were doing and you were getting frustrated?
It's not that I had to learn what I was doing. I was just getting frustrated. I just needed a break from them.
Right, okay.
It's the same with PC games.
Right, so I think that basically we might have to do a feature called Angry Abigail or something, where you basically just play a game till you go mental and smash someone in the face.
No, that person would be you, so...
The keyboard. I've just got QWERTY imprinted on my forehead. So what's your plan though for after GTA 3? Are you going to move to Vice City? Or are you going to move to Vice City? Are you going to play Vice City?
I'll go to Vice City.
Right, okay. So...
No, I won't.
You're not going to play Vice City?
I don't know if I will. I don't know how long... Out of curiosity, how much of this of GTA 3 is actually left?
I'll look that up for you, and let you know.
Okay, because I've done quite a bit of it, I think.
Yeah. No, the missions. If I was to sit
Never
down
ending.
and play Vice City today, I could be done most of it today, and that would be because I've only got a PC copy. That would be without the lock-on mechanic because I could never get that to work.
Right, but I'm talking about GTA 3, not Vice City.
I think Vice City is bigger than 3.
Really?
Yeah, so it should be
over soon. Please.
Have you done a mission at an airport yet?
No.
Right, so that was a good one, but that was quite close to the end, I think.
Right, so I'll look out for that then.
I think so.
Because at the moment it's only giving me... The only missions available to me are the Crooked Cops missions on Stoughton Island, or however we decide to pronounce it.
Staunton
Island.
A quick question. Who have you done missions for? You've done Mafia, you've done Crooked Cop.
There's the girl who took me away from the Mafia.
Uh-huh.
And then there's the guy...
No, but who do they work for? The girl, is she Yakuza?
I can't remember. It's their Mafia, but it's their...
She Japanese?
I don't know.
You can't...
I wasn't paying attention to that.
Racist. Right, okay, you must be pretty far
think
through.
so.
You should have, by the time you met the Crooked Cop, you should have met the Yakuza. So you
yes,
should
I have done. Yes, that name rings a bell. I've done all those.
Yeah, so you should actually be pretty far through.
Thank goodness for that.
Yeah, I would play Vice City, like I said. We're going to do... Obviously, we can't record Vice City. I think we should do a San Andreas endurance run, but you might not necessarily have to play all the missions. I would, if we sit down and played it and recorded it.
How can I play San Andreas? I don't have
It was
platform.
a PS 2 or 3 game, but anyway, when we get one.
Okay.
When we have the capacity to play San Andreas, we'll play through that together. Same with 4 and the same with 5.
Okie dokie. So that's what I have been playing. What have you been playing, Tommy?
We'll try not to read too much into how happy you were to think you were getting close to the end of the game. I have been playing... last week we mentioned some Halo 5 custom games. I made some maps and played with my friends, including putting hills inside a small cube, which is inside a big cube that we could all look into.
Yes, I was looking forward to this.
It was a metal plate. It was a map called Parallax, which is originally you're on a metal plate in space.
Right.
So what I did was I deleted everything that was there, bar the metal plate, and built a cube out of glass.
Right.
And then I built 4 corridors leading into the cube, also made of glass but with metal plate floor.
Okay.
And a metal plate ceiling. The cube has a metal plate ceiling as well. And I split those 4 corridors into 2. And then we proceeded to attempt to play. But what I also did was I built a small glass cube inside the main glass cube. So the glass cube is where we'd all do battle with hammers and really fast running around and boosting. So I built a smaller glass cube in the center of that glass cube.
Yeah.
You would have seen it in the previous footage. I also the whole plan there was to basically have somebody spawn in that, and then we could all look in and watch them like a zoo. So I had to designate specific spawn points for specific teams so I could trick the right person to go in.
Yeah.
So there was 8 tubes in total, 4 divided into 2, so that every single player, every single team, because there's 8 teams, had a specific place to spawn in. So I made these 8 teams spawning areas in the tubes.
Yeah.
Apart from one tube which I left empty, and I put the blue team inside the wee cube. So the good news is, right, that I was able to construct it and get the teams spawning in the right places. Originally it was supposed to be 4 tubes leading in, but then another friend of ours joined in as I was finishing off the map, so I realised I was going to need 8 tubes. So I just split the ones that were there in half by putting some glass walls down them, and that worked really well. But that's all the good news, because it took 4 goes for me to get it right, because it took a couple of hours to make the map. We'll have to have a discussion of the game mechanics at one point for the Forge, because I don't think they work as well as the previous Forges I've used in Halo, namely Reach. But the problem that I had was that, as you'll see from the previous video, you have to set up these spawn boxes that you can then increases the chances of a spawn in a certain area. So I set it to 100%, put 1 spawn point and 1 respawn point in them, and then coloured them all for the specific team. But to see how big the box was, to make sure it was covering effectively, I had to show the box so I could see it, and then expand the sizes to make it cover the spawn points. And then I just copied and pasted it and then changed the team colours. But the problem that I had was that I didn't know about the reset option, which means that a lot of the boxes are at an angle, because when you copy and paste and then spin them round so that everybody spawns facing forward, it sort of tilts them at a weird angle for some reason, and you have to press reset, and I didn't know that. I thought reset would put it right back to where it was before, not just flatten it off. So you can see the boxes are all tilted because I haven't realised that. And secondly, I forgot to turn off the show of the box. I thought that was like permanent for some reason, even though I know I turned it on. So you can see they're all at an angle. So there's a green box and a pink box and a yellow box and all that off in the distance from the combat. But there's also a blue box in the middle, which is right in the middle of the map, because that's the blue box that I tricked Hills into spawning into, so that he was stuck in the cube. And I didn't turn that off, so you can see in the video, you can see the blue box around the glass cube, and I did trick him into spawning into it. But unfortunately, what I did was, when I designed the tubes, I didn't want people to be able to bounce out of the central cube into the tubes.
Right.
I wanted them to be stuck in the cube. So what I was thinking was, you spawn in the tube, right?
Yeah.
There's a kill box in the tube, so you have to get out of it quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And then after that, you go through a one-way wall, which doesn't let you back in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I didn't know how to work the kill boxes at the time, but I thought that's not a problem, because they're going to want to kill each other, they're not going to hide. And there's 5 of us, it doesn't matter if they do. But I made a slight oopsie with the one-way wall.
You made a what?
An oopsie. Unfortunately, the one-way wall doesn't tell you which way is the one way you can go through it. And you can make them team-specific, or you can make them, general.
Yeah.
If they're neutral, you can't go through them at all. If they're team-specific, then only that team can go through it, and they can only go through it one way. So I made them all team-specific. But there was, as I said, a problem. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell you which way is the way through, which way is the one way you can go. And I did work it out. It's the way which you are looking at it when you put it down in Forge mode.
Right.
But I didn't know that at the time. And obviously the most sensible way to do it is to place all of them down from inside the cube. Because in Forge mode, you would only be able to pass through the one-way wall that you're a part of that team.
Yeah.
So I'd either have to keep changing teams or move it out the way to then move past and then move it back. So I put it in from the side of the central cube. So I was looking at all 8 entrances and I just blocked them all, rather than putting them from in. You see what I mean?
Kind of.
Instead of, basically it was a cube with tubes, right?
Okay.
So instead of being in the tube, putting the wall down and having to find a way of getting past it, like respawning or moving it to then move it back, I just put all of the walls down from inside the cube. So I was basically just doing wall, 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 and that was it.
Okay.
But unfortunately, because it's the way you are looking when you put them all down, that meant that all of the one way was to get out of the cube. So the first problem that we had was that you couldn't get through the wall.
Okay.
So every time you were attempting to get through, you couldn't, because you were on the side of the one-way wall that wouldn't let you past. So people could get out of the cube, but they couldn't get into the cube in the first place. So that didn't work.
Whole plan destroyed by game physics.
So I didn't realise that at first. I thought the problem was the weapons, because everybody spawned in with a gun and immediately changed from the hammer to the gun and started shooting each other. Now they obviously weren't hitting because there was glass walls in the way, but I realised straight away they were just not going to. So I went back and I changed the weapon's ammo count from 0, because it gave a full magazine at 0, to 1.
Yeah.
But that still didn't work. So I went back again and I took the weapon away completely and gave everybody just 2 golf clubs. So they only came in with 1 golf club. But that didn't work either, because we still couldn't get through the one-way wall. So then I had to go into Forge mode. This is what was annoying. I had to go into forge mode while everybody was in my fire team.
Yeah.
And walls, I was like, please people don't move anything because I'd have to fix it. There's no undo. And I've spent a couple of hours, please don't do this. And for the most part, functionally, it was fine. And everybody could use the hammers and the golf clubs and you could get through the one-way walls because I took them out for this.
Yeah.
So there was no problem. But the problem then became an issue of something a bit different. And that problem was that while in forge mode, Danny and Sam had moved the walls separating them so they were able to fight in the tube. So they were having a golf club fight. They didn't realise what they'd done. They thought it was supposed to be designed that way, but they seemed to be occasionally having a wee fight when they were coming in. The other thing was that the collision boxes, it said one-way walls had been removed. So since then I've gone back in, I've fixed what was moved out the way by mistake, and I've put the one-way walls in properly.
Yeah.
And I've also flattened off the spawn boxes, added the kill boxes, and turned show off all the boxes so you can't see those.
Yeah.
So it's finished, it's perfectly well done, but it was really... it's just, they were giving
poor
me...
you.
They were...
Poor you.
Thank
poor you. Giving you a hug.
They were giving me some stick for it not being 100% ready as soon as
that's
they
what
wanted
friends
to play.
do. They give each other stick for not doing stuff properly.
But it was a bit...
sad.
It was just a bit annoying that the one-way box doesn't tell you which way it goes until you try to use it.
Yeah.
Or it might have also been, right, that I might not have team colour coordinated them all, in which case they were all neutral and therefore didn't work either way. Maybe the one-way system is more dynamic than I gave it credit for. Maybe it detects where the spawn point is. Maybe once you go through it, it just says, right, that's the way you're going and you're not allowed back.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I set the team properly, therefore nobody would have been able to get through them no matter which way I set them. Because like I said, this was I've tried using the Forge before, but this was the first time I didn't encounter a problem and go, right, I'm out of here. Because it's not the same as Reach, and Reach worked, I think, a lot better. It's a bit easier to use, basically. But this does look like it has potential. But I really wanted to make a King of the Hill map. Where you capture a hill and you hold it and you get points.
Right, yes.
But,
I thought you meant the television show there. I was like, how is that into...
I don't know what television show that is.
King of the Hill.
No.
It was an animated TV series.
Oh, I might have heard of it. I don't know. But I wanted to put a King of the Hill on top of the wee cube.
Yeah.
That's in the middle of the map. But I couldn't do it because apparently it's the most complicated game type you can make because there's no scripting in the game. Apparently you have to make scripting brains, and that then applies a set of rules, but I don't have a clue how you do that. So I might look it up over time, but it's not something I'm going to worry about. And what I was hoping to do, although I don't know how to do it, was prefab. I think there's a way in which you can save everything you've put together into a prefab so that if you ever want to pull it out and use it again, so if you make a building, you can use that building again in other maps. I was kind of hoping I could find a way of doing that. Yeah, and just because there are 6 different maps where the only thing that changes is the background.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd love to be able to do that. Maybe change the ceilings for glass as well to make it less... I tried to add lighting to offset the fact that the light is blocked out by the ceiling.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get that to work.
Oh, you're such a silly boy.
Yeah, so I think I might try and change the ceilings for glass. But it was I was having a lot of fun with it.
That's good.
But I really would like to be able to just move this around to the other 5 maps, not have to not have to remake it, because it would take less time now that I know how it works.
Yeah.
You can copy and paste things, but you can't really move them very well.
And it'd also be good if you can get people in, just not out of the boxes.
Yeah, well, we've fixed that, right? We've got they can get into the cube from the tube, but they can't get out of the little centre box in the middle, because that's the one where there's the zoo. But that's team colour specific. And I'm going to tell Hills to see if he's listening the next time we play. I'm going to tell him to go team blue again and see if he ends up in the middle.
Yeah.
Because if he's not listened to this, he might do it. He might not, but he might do it. But if he does do it, he definitely hasn't listened. There's no way he'd voluntarily go into a cube. So, yeah. I can find out.
He might do it just to spite you.
Yeah, but this is where we shall see. But I am planning on making a little video where, if we ever get viewers, where somebody can say, right, make something like this, and I can have a go at making it, and I can record it. That would be fun.
Yeah.
But that's what I've been doing with my time, is playing some Halo 5 custom games, and we had a lot of fun just smashing each other with a hammer. As you saw from the previous video, I was actually very good.
Cool.
I got accused of cheating by Samuel. He said,
was he losing?
Yeah, because I was winning. This is the one where it was shotty hammers in Fathom with the special Slayer mechanic I'd made.
Yeah.
And he accused me of having practiced when nobody else was there, and that's just not the case. It's just I made a similar game type on Halo Reach called Set Golf Clubs to Malky. And I've got Set Golf Clubs to Malky and Set Golf Clubs to Malky 2 on Halo 5. And it's just basically where you've got less gravity, you can jump really high. And in the case of 2.0, you've got the thrusters and clamber are all set really high. And the idea is that you put it on a small island that if you fall off of, you die. But because you can jump so high and thrust so much, you're more likely to fall off.
Right.
And the whole idea is that people are committing suicide every 5 seconds if they don't control themselves properly. And I just seem to adapt to that really quickly, not having all this sort of like inability to move in the way you normally would, whereas others don't. So I mean, if you watch the video back from last week, you'll see that every single one of the other 4 players was using the shotgun, whereas I was using the hammer, and I ended up 14 kills in the second player. The player in second place was, they had 7 kills.
Is it?
Mm. I mean, only 7-year-olds are enjoying this bit, but he accused me of cheating because I was so far ahead. Like it was a bit of a, he was having a laugh, but it was about how far ahead I was, and it was just because they totally. A gravity hammer has an area of effect, right?
Yeah.
A shotgun has only a blast radius, quite a narrow blast radius if you're close up. So it might kill you in one hit, just like the hammer would, and it's got a bigger range than the hammer.
Yeah.
But if you're moving at 400 million miles an hour, you've got to hit a very specific, 30-degree sliver of your 360-degree possible. Whereas with the hammer, you can be 180, 270, and as long as you're right next to them, you still kill them.
Yeah.
You don't even have to be looking, they can be right behind you, but if you hammer you right down and they're right behind you, they die. Whereas with the shotgun, they have to be aiming straight at you.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody was using the shotgun, not understanding that the speed makes the shotgun much harder. I think I died twice to the shotgun, and once was because I killed 3 people, and so I was just really low on health. And once was because I couldn't get. The only way to approach the other player was straight on, but I managed to kill him when he killed me as well. The shotgun would normally prevent that, but because you're moving so fast, you sort of slide towards them a bit,
right,
as they're shooting, so you're slightly closer. They don't take into account the speed difference when they pull the trigger. So by the time they've pulled the trigger, you were 15 whatever foot or 10 foot or 5 foot away, but you're now 3 instead of just 4.
Yeah.
Because you're moving so much faster. So because of that, you're able to slam the hammer down and kill them. But it was a lot of fun.
That's good.
Yeah. I know. There's a video from last week showing I recorded about half of or the entirety of a game that we did, which was custom, I think. It's about 5 or 7 minutes of it. I enjoyed that. That's the sort of thing that we've been doing.
Sounds like you've been having fun and learning at the same time.
Well, I really enjoy making maps and game types in Halo. I think it was just when I ended up the fire team leader a couple of weeks ago and just thought, I was just
yeah, when you were mucking about with everything,
I just mucked about with the rules, and that's gave me sort of like the desire to go and muck about with them some more.
I must play God more often.
Yeah. So I was enjoying that. So, on to the news.
Yes.
The first piece of news in the news of this week is the mass shooting that happened at the gaming convention / competition in Florida, in Jacksonville, on the 26th of August, which was a week last Sunday. And we'll try and sum it up as quickly as possible, because we don't want to... We're letting people know because they should know, but we're not trying to... We're not like regular media. We're not doing this for views when it comes to talking about this particular story.
No, it's something that I think that we should talk about because it's happened.
But it's not something that we should drag out. There was I believe it was a Madden competition, Madden being the American football game, and they were playing Madden 19, and a person called David Katz shot and killed 2 people, wounded 9 others, and then killed himself. And the witness accounts are that he was a competitor who lost, seemed to get upset by it, and then started shooting. I think the majority of the victims were in the pizzeria, because this was taking place in a gaming bar that was either... I think it was part of the same building as the pizzeria.
I think so, yeah.
And so he lost his temper when he lost or got knocked out or whatever it was, and started shooting the place up. And he killed 2 people and wounded 9, and then killed himself. And as far as facts go, that's basically it.
Yeah, it's such a tragic thing to happen. Any shooting is tragic. I think the really small mercies, it wasn't an assault rifle, it was a handgun. It could have been so much worse, but unfortunately 2 young lads did lose their lives.
Yeah.
They were Taylor Robertson, who was 28, and Elijah Clayton, who was 22.
Yeah.
Who were both competing in it.
We probably should, considering all the facts, include David Katz.
Yes, who was 24.
Because you were mentioning earlier that he had a history of mental health problems.
Yes.
If somebody with stated medical health problems kills themselves in a shooting, they're a victim as well.
Indeed. The Associated Press got hold of court files from when Katz's parents were getting divorced, which stated that he had a history of mental illness. It doesn't go into any specifics of what kind of mental illness he had that I found so far, but he did suffer from it. It's just such an unfortunate state of affairs that have occurred.
Yeah, it focused around... the manifestation of it focused around his video gaming. Because I think you mentioned that his mother once tried to take his games console off him, and she locked it in a room, so he basically tore through the door. He
punched a door. He punched a hole in the door. That's what the article I read said. There will be people probably who are going to try and twist this to say it's the game's fault. It's not.
That's nearly impossible. This is Madden. There's no way you can say that this shooting was inspired by the violence inherent in the game. Like, you hear the claims made about GTA and all that sort of jazz. You can't... that's not the same thing here.
It's not, no. And what has...
It's like saying a terrorist attack was inspired by Animal Crossing.
The outcome of this is that EA have pledged to donate $1 million.
Well, it's not the outcome, it's an effect.
It's an effect, sorry.
The outcome is all the dead people.
The EA have said they're going to pledge $1 million to fund... to set up a fund to help the victims of the shootings.
The wounded and the families of the dead, yeah.
Which I think is it's good for EA that they've done this.
Yeah, but I mean
they have... It's not their fault.
Well,
that it happened.
No, but $1 million for EA is absolutely nothing.
It's not a lot.
It's absolutely. They probably made more from the event, notwithstanding. It's not anything at all. I don't know if it was their event or not, but the fact that one of the survivors is currently suing Madden might suggest that it might be. But even out with that, they probably made enough from publicity to that $1 million is nothing. I mean, EA makes billions a year from Madden and from FIFA alone. I mean, like, separately they make billions from each of those games. They could have given away a lot more than 1 million. Maybe I'm being picky, but you've got to try and put it into context. That would be like, somebody getting shot at my house, so I ping a 20 pence at the person's wife. I mean, it's nothing compared to what they could do to help. And spread across that number of people, $1 million. I mean, you're talking about 2 dead and 9 injured, or 3 dead. That's 12 victims. You're not. That's nothing. That's less than $100,000 each. And in America, that's probably not going to cover medical expenses.
No.
So that's not enough. Any other company donated $1 million, apart from possibly Activision, I'd probably be okay with it. But EA they're just there to suck as much money out of everything as they can. They can afford to give a bit more than that. I don't want anybody saying good on EA, because that's not good on EA. That's nothing. That's the bare minimum they needed to do to try and save face. But it is interesting that they're being sued. Suggests maybe that they set it up, or somebody blames them for security or something like that. But
there'll always be somebody who blames somebody else. But we'll see what comes of that.
Yeah.
Maybe next week there'll be or in a couple of weeks there'll be an update.
Yeah, maybe. But
anyway, it was very tragic, and it's very, very sad that it's happened.
Mm-hmm.
My thoughts go out to the families of everyone.
My thoughts go more towards the idea that he didn't get any of the necessary mental health treatment, clearly, and still had access to a gun, and then killed people.
But again, I think we have to think if it's America, it's not likely it's going to change anytime soon.
No, I get worked up when people start shouting America and waving the flag and saying it's the greatest country in the world, and then this guy does this because he's not well. I mean, come on. Just sort of, I don't know, I've found over the years that it's sort of tempered my ability to care. No, it's not from the point of view of I don't care about the individual people. I do. It's the point of view of I don't care about the fact it's a mass shooting, because that's going to happen in America. There's no way around it. I no longer go, oh, there's a mass shooting in America. That's what I'm trying to say.
I think that over the last few years there have been so that I can remember, but it's only really within the last few years that I've properly been paying attention to the news, that it's happened so frequently. You lose words, you lose things to say, because you've said it already. You said it 3 weeks ago. If there was it happens so frequently in America.
Well, we've brought it up before with the GTA 5 elegy.
Yeah.
Stream. It's just ludicrous, really, because I was watching a movie the other day. I think it was called The American President, where Michael Douglas, who's the president, was saying that for reasons unknown or unintelligible, or I can't remember the exact word, so I'm paraphrasing, and he said, for reasons unknown, the American public do not relate gun-related crimes to guns.
Repeat that again?
The American public don't relate guns to gun-related crime.
Right. Yeah, I could totally, I see that.
It's just nonsense.
So it's nonsense, but it's true.
No. I mean, it's nonsense that they don't do it. No, it's not what he said is nonsense. It's true. But it's nonsense that they don't see the link between guns and gun-related crime. To round off, it's sad that it's happened, but it's
unlikely it's not going to happen again.
Yeah. It's really sad, especially for those people, but to a degree you can't get that upset about the fact that it was a mass shooting, because there's going to be another one.
Yes, I predict there's going to be another one before the year's out. Probably before the month's out, to be perfectly honest.
Probably before this week is out. I think there was it last year, the year before, they averaged one mass shooting a week, at least.
Yeah.
It's more like 3 or 4. It's just... Honestly, it would be... The way they relate to guys, it would be genuinely like... They probably have Sorry, I'm just... Suddenly had the anti-vaxxer people in my head there as well. It's just... Or the flat earthers, you know? It's all data denial, that's all it is. You know?
It is, yeah.
They've just got it into their head, this one Pacific, one Atlantic Ocean thing, and they haven't run with it properly, you know. But we could talk about that for ages. And
I know, it's again, gun violence is for another day,
yeah,
I think.
Gun violence is it's just an American thing now.
Yeah.
That's it. If you're going to live there, you know, have fun, I'm sure it's brilliant, but if you get shot in the face, that's just par for the course. So that's just the way it is. So yeah, again, it's sad, and we wish everybody the best, all 13 peoples and their families, but it's...
Yes, I wish for a better future for everybody.
There's going to be more than 13 by the end of this week.
I hope everybody gets the help they need from this.
Yeah, but they won't.
I know, but I mean the families involved in this. I hope that they're
but they won't, because it's America. So they'll have to pay ridiculous amounts for the 9 wounded people. If one of them doesn't have insurance, they're going to need basically that whole million to themselves. So it's nonsense. Anyway,
what do you have any happy news?
We'll move on to some other pieces of news that are possibly more vindictive on my part, but
oh, I see EA's come back up again.
Yep.
I see a swear word in there as well.
Yeah. I'm just quoting my brain.
I was about to say, you're quoting yourself with that.
Yep. So, a good piece of news for people like me is that, remember the past couple of weeks we've spoken about EA.
Yeah.
And the fact that they've put amputee womeny creatures into...
Womeny creatures,
women beasts. Lady beasts into their Battlefield 5 game. And they've been using pieces of evidence like the claw hand that you can see in the trailer is a real piece of equipment. And it's true, it is, but they've taken liberties with it because there's no way that actual piece of equipment would stay on someone in a Battlefield scenario.
Right.
Because it only attaches to the one shoulder. You'd need to harness it to the chest and the other shoulder probably to keep it on while running around a battlefield. Also, there's absolutely nothing saying that thing would allow you to use a weapon with it. So if you did have an amputee soldier, you wouldn't be able to use a firearm. You'd have to use a pistol in the one hand.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if they ever addressed. But they've taken liberties with what actually happened, and they've blown it out of proportion. So, you know, they previously accused people of being uneducated because this stuff did happen. Yeah, the point is you've turned the occasional story into, oh, this is regular, which diminishes the original achievement.
Yeah.
It'd be like Usain Bolt, he can run 100 metres in under 10 seconds. Well, if you claim everybody else can, then he's not as impressive. If we claim that you could...
God, I think you'd probably be high if you thought I could.
Exactly. So it diminishes his achievement if you claim everybody else can do it too.
Yeah.
Well, EA has delayed the release of Battlefield 5.
What a surprise.
Yeah. They gave a whole list of reasons, which I'll sum up here, as to why, which particularly that they wanted to make it even better. So they said that they had one of the best Battlefield games ever, but they need to work on it to make it better, even though it's the best. From any other company, I would actually buy that excuse, but from them, it's nonsense. They want to make it better because they've received feedback, and they want to include any adjustments in correlation to that feedback into the game. But they think that they'll also receive more feedback after the beta's released. Beta, whatever you want to pronounce it as. And how do you pronounce that word?
Which word, sorry?
Beta. Is it beta?
Beta test. Beta test. Beta, I think. That's how I pronounce it.
Right, I pronounce it... Everybody was arguing about it. Is it beta or is it beta? So I just said beta. There you go. There's number 3.
You always have to just...
Well, there was a case I was at uni and 2 guys were arguing over the pronunciation of phalanx. Is it phalanx or phalanx? So I said phalanx.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We'll try not to talk straight through the punchline next time.
There's a punchline for you.
That's just a punch. Anyway, so this is all absolute nonsense, to paraphrase the swearing you saw earlier. The real reason is the release window. They're running terrified of the release window because it's got Fallout 76, Black Ops 4, sorry, and which is a Call of Duty game, and Red Dead Redemption 2. And looking at the pre-orders, it's miles behind Black Ops. As I said, it's more than 85% behind.
Yeah.
And for its pre-order numbers, and while the other 2, Fallout 76 and Black Ops, from the sounds of it, are doing okay, the only one that's meeting its targets quite happily is Red Dead Redemption 2, its numbers are looking pretty good. And I think that's the point, is that Red Dead Redemption 2 is just drawing all the attention.
Yeah. And
all 4 of these games are shooters, so when you add them all together, Battlefield 5 is just being completely overlooked, and it was heading for what I called a Titanfall 2 event.
Okay.
Which is that they released it in such a crowded window, nobody bought it.
Yes.
And that's what was happening here, and that's why they've taken it out. But because they've moved it forward, and a further good piece of news, EA have taken a share price hit. But they will most likely have already recovered that position, because they took a significant share price hit when they had the loot box issue, but they recovered that money within about 3 days or something like that. So it's a good piece of news, but it's not damaging. But if they are claiming that they're responding, they are responding to people one way or another. If they are actually making the game better, which I doubt, then they're responding to the people who have given feedback. But if they're just waiting to move it out of its crowded window, at the very least they have learned from Titanfall 2, and they have listened to the response of people not pre-ordering it.
Yeah.
And they know they can't get away with threatening people and saying buy it or don't, we don't care, because they're just not, the ultimatum doesn't work.
No.
And with Peter Soderlund leaving, there's a chance that they might learn from this and maybe put some extra effort into Anthem, which is coming out next year or the year after that or the year after that or in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they'll put some extra effort into that, because I think Anthem is tied to the likelihood of a Mass Effect 5 or a Dragon Age 4. Which, if they were good, I would like to see, obviously.
Yeah.
But right now, the single-player RPG experience seems to be being tied down quite happily by CD Projekt Red and Rockstar. So, if EA want to try and get in on that, which they've claimed previously they don't, but maybe they'll make some effort with Anthem.
Yes.
There is a good piece of news coming up that is attached to that.
What is it?
Well, I don't know if it will be in this podcast. It might be in the next one.
Okay.
But it is in relation to...
I'm always having to wait till the next one. You lure me in with something interesting. It's like, no, next week.
Well, that's the whole point.
Next week.
Well, that's the whole point. But it relates to previously we've mentioned that EA have been saying that nobody wants single player games. Well, it seems that Microsoft, who believed that as well for a while, who purchased 5 gaming studios recently, they're starting to make some headway in making some single player games, and I think that's the way it's going to go. So I've got some news relating to other companies possibly making single player games. So that's coming up soon. Next week. But it relates to this, and I consider it a good piece of news. But I also consider this delay a good piece of news, because it means that no matter what, EA are going to take something of a hit. And when you treat your fans the way that they do, you sort of deserve it.
Yes.
So
when you tell your fan base, either buy it or don't, we don't really care. If you want to play it, you need to buy it the way it is.
It was the response to the justifiable concerns that the game didn't make any sense.
Yeah, you need to listen to your fan base, you need to listen to your consumers, because if you don't, they're going to stop buying from you.
I mean,
they can boycott you.
You don't have to give in to them, because you still have to have creative license.
Oh yeah, no, but you can.
But you can't respond like that.
No.
Yeah, I just think that the EA have a lot to learn, and hopefully with Soderlund gone, there's a window that they'll learn it.
Yeah.
we'll see. I'm hoping that they make a proper KOTOR 3. But that's just me.
Yeah, it'll be all your Christmases come at once, won't it?
No, just one Christmas come at once. I have just alluded to a piece of news that's going to be coming up next week to do with single players.
What?
No. But I can move to, and I did mention Rockstar, so we'll move to a piece of news about Rockstar now.
Okay.
Which relates to Red Dead Redemption 2, obviously, because
Yep.
that's the game that they're working on. It's the big game being worked on right now, I suppose, which is coming out later this year. I think it's October, actually. And it relates to Red Dead Redemption 2's map. Now, this was leaked back in 2016. It's widely believed to be accurate that this is the map the game's going to use.
Right.
But it seems like it's had a few changes and alterations compared to the current map compared to the map that was leaked in 2016.
Yeah.
Because we now know, I think it's been stated by Rockstar, that the map for Red Dead Redemption 2 is bigger than the map for GTA 5. Now, that's not the case previously.
Yeah.
Previously, it was believed that Red Dead Redemption 2's map was smaller. Because they've stated several times that map size wasn't everything, but it turns out they have actually made a bigger map anyway. And to try and put that into context, GTA 5's map was very large, but you had cars and planes and boats to speed up travel times.
Right.
Well, with this, all you've got is a horse. So obviously an even larger map still is quite a significant increase.
God, yeah, it would be.
Because you're only on a horse. So logically the map is comparatively larger because you have player speed movement reductions, as it were. Your ability to traverse the map at speed is reduced. So
Yeah.
comparatively it's larger.
Mhm.
It takes you longer to get from one side to another.
Yeah.
And it's bigger anyway. There was no fast travel system in the first game when it came to the point of you just picking where you wanted to go, but you could use the carriages to get around and that helped speed up traversal.
Mhm.
I think one of the reasons that they've expanded the map is the fact that not just to make it bigger, but because they wanted to add different area types to, different sort of ecosystems to the game.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we think is there is a desert area, but we've not seen much of it.
Mhm.
So there is a lot of suggestion that and now with Rockstar saying it, that the map is larger than before, whereas previously we believed it was smaller.
Yeah.
But we do have some information out with the map size, which is that it was released in relation to the maps, was that human corpses will not despawn. They will persist. So
Does that mean it'll just stay in the game and it'll just stay where it is?
Yeah, basically. So instead of you, say previous games, you killed someone, rode away to a major city and came back, the body was gone.
Yeah.
In this, it will remain. So that's
So it's more realistic.
It's quite a system taxing.
Unless like a villager decides to move it away.
Well, yeah, that's the point. Is that they'll rot, and they'll be pecked apart by scavenger animals, carrier.
Like
animals.
vultures and stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it would be vultures in this particular
I
environment.
was just naming a.
Yeah, a hyena. Yeah, one of the things they mentioned as well was that you can enter buildings, because this is what they didn't want to. Originally, they didn't want to make the map bigger because they wanted to make it more sophisticated, as it were, denser. And apparently, you can now enter buildings and search through individual cupboards.
All right.
Which you couldn't. I mean, most games don't have that. Even if you can get in the building, you can't just start going through all the different cupboards. The cupboards are usually those weird cupboards in video games that you can't interact with.
Yeah, just a block on the wall.
Just a brown block with
just a brown block.
Little handles on it. But it seems to be they are trying to hide the actual size of the map, because if you notice in the videos and screenshots, they've not put the map in.
Yeah.
They seem to be hiding it, at least for now. Now, I've not seen some of the more recent press release stuff, but I don't think anything's been mentioned where the map's been shown to sort of give it a scale. So I think they're trying to make that a surprise, which is why they've not bigged this up. They've just answered a question about it, essentially.
So they want to really surprise and
because the way
make their so guys about contributors. That's not it. Their clientele very happy with the game.
Players base.
Players, yeah.
The player base, yeah. I think the reason for that is that Rockstar have put here are being coy, because what they've done is answered a question, but they're not giving a direct size of the map. They're just saying that it's bigger. They didn't approach it themselves, the topic, and this all information comes from PlayStation Access because they asked the question. So the Rockstar are being really coy about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's because they've put a lot of effort into making this map in this game. It's like 8 years in development now, so they're being careful.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's with just cause. As in the idea, not the video game.
How disappointed would you be if they're not being coy, they just don't want to admit it's going to be not as great as everything else? It's like, well, yeah, it's going to be a little bit bigger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't tell them anything else.
The map's going to be a little bigger, but that's because what? That's because this particular character can swim.
But I'm just joking. Like, imagine if it was actually nothing good. It's just all bad.
Sort of like the Alamo Sea in the middle of GTA 5. They've artificially increased the size of the map by just putting in a sea. Now, I mean, the sea in GTA 5 was great, but maybe this sea will have absolutely nothing in it. And so you're basically just
never-ending swimming.
It, like.
I can't remember what it was. That's what it was. It was Spyro. I was trying to get him to see how far away he could swim from the actual island. And then about 10 minutes later, I realised he just hit an invisible wall and it wasn't swimming. It wasn't swimming to anything. It turned around. I was like, oh.
GTA 5 and I think maybe not GTA 4 because GTA 4 could only use helicopters. I think San Andreas had this as well. Actually, San Andreas.
Yeah.
Pretty. That was an original Xbox game where. GTA 5 and San Andreas, where you could get in a plane and fly and the map just keeps expanding. All you're in is sea, but it basically just keeps expanding.
Alright.
And when you pause it to look at the map, your wee character is out in the middle of nowhere and the actual island has become tiny because you're so far away from it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I think the first game I ever saw
nice touch.
that did that was Morrowind. Went round to my friend's house to play it and we did there's if you go a certain way when you leave Sedanin, the first town you start in, you hear this big scream and then a Bosmer falls out of the sky and crashes and dies in front of you as a type of elf. Yeah. And you find the scroll of acrobatics on him, and if you use it, you increase your acrobatics by like 1,000 or 10,000 points. So when you jump 100 miles in the air. And my friends used this to jump not straight up but off the island you start on. And it just expands and expands and expands until you land in the sea.
That's incredible.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing there. GTA 5's different though. Yeah. It does eventually stop, right? But what it does when it stops is it causes, I think, your plane or your boat sinks. Both of the engines cut out, right, for either a boat or a plane. Obviously, you wouldn't get out there with a car. Or you could swim. And what happens is you stop being able to swim and you're stuck a bit, I think. Yeah. I've never tried it while swimming. You might be able to keep swimming because you can't go very far. But with a boat or a plane, the engine's cut out and you crash, right? Yeah. The boat starts to sink. It doesn't float either. So you have to start swimming. And then what happens is a gigantic shark spawns in. And I've got footage of this, so I can put this up. And it swims around you and then attacks you and bites through your face.
Is this how you said that? And it bites through your face.
Yeah, it kills you, and that's how it does it. It just spawns in and kills you.
Very nice.
Yeah, Rockstar, they maybe don't have as intricate a world as something like, I've heard that Inquisition's quite good, or The Witcher 3, but they do make good worlds. They do make good maps. I was a wee bit disappointed with 5 because there's only one proper corner, sort of like built up area in it. The rest are tiny wee towns, but the city's huge, to be fair to them, and they were building it for the 360. They couldn't have made it much bigger, so I wasn't disappointed in a sort of I wasn't disappointed with what I got. I was just upset that there wasn't, and because the previous San Andreas set game was set with 3 cities and this only had 1. Yeah, but this city is even bigger than those 3 cities combined, so I wasn't disappointed. I suppose I was just accepting the limitation of the console at the time, that they couldn't have more. But they do build good maps.
That's good.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that that this one's going to be good as well. After discussion of Red Dead Redemption 2's map, that's all the news for today, for this week. We hope that you enjoyed listening and that you'll like and subscribe below if you did, and maybe leave a comment.
And I hope that you will continue to listen on our many adventures into gaming.
You can follow us on Facebook at overshadow.shadowcast.com, or you can contact us on Gmail. You can contact us through email at overshadow.shadowcast at gmail.com. And
or you can leave a little comment and we will reply to it.
So we hope to hear from you, and we hope that you enjoyed this video, and that we'll see you next time.
Yes, ta-ra, folks.
Thank you for joining us, Abigail.
Thank you for joining me, Tommy.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.